And I think we're live. I think we are live. Quite possibly. Welcome to episode 4 of the Shameless Shekel Shakedown. It's time. I got a lot of stuff to cover this week. I might have to just roll through some of these. Might have to roll through some of them pretty quick. Finally, I'm glad you figured out how to use tech for the first time in your life. What's going on, Patrick? How's it going? Oh, and we got a ton of stuff to cover. Like trying to go through all the tabs. It's like, okay, so J.K. Rowling. We got more Stellar Blade. Then we got IGN. Then we've got more Stellar Blade. Then we got more IGN. And then we got Maxim Korea, which is absolutely fantastic. Disney. More Disney stuff. We got Nintendo to go over. Some more Sweet Baby Ink stuff. That's always going to be fun. I found a weird article on IGN. It's something else. Let's see. We've got some Hellblade 2 going on. Hellblade 2. So yeah, they're saying short games are better and people don't want to play long games. Games should only be like 6 hours of play. That's yeah. Yeah. And then because a lot of weirdos like doing weird things, we've got Helldivers 2 stuff still in the news. And then I want to talk about the Ethot Nala, who's been saved by Jesus, doing that whole grift. And I think I do have a going to end up being a members only video about anime, about new anime. It's going to be an interesting day. We're hitting all the bases, all of the bases. Yeah, an interesting take, to say the least. But guys, if you're watching, make sure you smash that like button. Don't be a games journo. Do good stuff. Do good stuff. Do good stuff. Did I not? I'm still getting it together, guys. I'm still getting it. I'm getting there. And of course, Patrick is posting butts. Top G right there. Top G. I think I vaguely touched on some of this Friday during the Chad stream after show. Some of this I touched on. But it needs its own video. We're going with that. We are going with that. Get rid of that. I promise I have no idea what I'm doing. I promise. All right. That's that. That's that. There's too many tabs. I'm going to try and watch some of the Maxim video. We'll see if I get copyright struck on that. Better than being a bottom. You absolute DJ. I love you and hate you at the same time, Patrick. All right. Well, since we got a lot to cover, let's start knocking some stuff out. What do you say to that? What do you guys say to that? Well, that's not right. That needs to change. Copy that. Get rid of that. think that worked. Did I fuck that up everywhere else too? No? I used the same link. Why does one show up as Helldivers and the other show up as the Shakedown? It's not bad. Not bad enough that YouTube's screwing with me. Now everything else has got to screw with me. All right. Close that down, and we're almost there. We're almost there. We're almost there. Give some people some time to show up. All right. Welcome to DGen Anonymous. Patrick. All right. So let's talk about J.K. Rowling, because this is kind of funny. This is kind of funny. And it's also depressing. Where'd that tab? You know, it's going to be easier just to open up a new tab. I gotta trying to find the news article that has it, so nobody calls me out for saying I'm faking this. Oh yes, this will work. This'll work. This'll work. All right, that goes there. I have so many tabs open. I've just got drop down menus on the tabs. Just there you go. All right. Let's get started with this one. So the other week I made a video about how J.K. Rowling was going off the rails, calling out all these absolute weirdos, calling themselves women when they're men, just to get put into different prisons. And J.K. Rowling was going off the rails, calling them out, posting all sorts of stuff on Twitter, calling out everybody who was trying to dox her, but ended up doxing people who had nothing to do with J.K. Rowling. At which point, the British government decided that it was going to be a crime to talk the way she was talking. Now, I said it would be interesting to see if they actually prosecute her for any of her new hate speech violations. Well, it turns out that being rich does make you above the law in the UK. Here we go. The Hate Crime and Public Order Act of Scotland in 2021 makes it an offense to behave in a threatening or abusive manner with the intentions of stirring up hatred based on disability, religion, sexual orientation, transgenderism, or being intersex. Since the law came into effect on Monday, police in Scotland have received more than 3,000 complaints about J.K. Rowling alone. 3,000. That is how triggered these people are. This law was put in place to do nothing but try and put her into jail. But apparently, she's too rich and famous. She's too rich and famous. But here we've got this absolute weirdo, Katie Neves. Absolutely a man. It is 100% a man. Who they appointed to the UN Women UK delegate. That's right, the UN. These are the type of people in the UN. The author claims Ms. Neves switched from straight man to lesbian at the age of 48. Ms. Neves told the BBC News she was very disappointed with police in Scotland. She wants her locked up for saying that he is a he. J.K. Rowling is a bully, and this act was designed to stop bullying. And if they're not going to enforce it, then it's very disappointing. She listed me and other transgender people along with some sex offenders and put it out to 14 million of her followers. That was inciting hatred and resulted in me receiving thousands of messages of hate. So it's done what she set out to do. But of course, none of those messages are posted anywhere. It's all just, I received a ton of death threats and hate mail. Show proof. Show proof. But the reality is there isn't any. There isn't any. And in fact, the Prime Minister himself said, yeah, it's not breaking the law. It's not breaking the law. It's not breaking the law for J.K. Rowling to do it, but anybody else is. In their coverage on the BBC reports Scotland received over 3,000 complaints. We just said that. Where did my highlight go? And here we can actually see people actually trying to incite violence against J.K. Rowling. Funny how none of them are going to jail. There were none of them. But it's only J.K. that has to deal with this because right here, from Great Britain News themselves, a man has been given 2 years in jail for stickers said awful racist things like "It's okay to be white." It's okay to be white. I wonder if J.K. Rowling's going to stick to her word and help anybody else out who's been, targeted by the police since they're obviously not going to go after her. I'd like to see J.K. Rowling go help this man get out of prison for just saying it's okay to be white. But I think that's not going to happen. I think we all know that she's too much of a feminist, and as long as it's a man in prison, she doesn't give a damn. Not a single damn. She will let him rot in prison. She would let you or me rot in prison because we're men. Now, if it's a woman, though. So, although I do find the entire story hilarious that J.K. Rowling is too rich and too famous to be put in prison, she is really one of the political elite now. We shouldn't take much of what she says to heart. Not a single bit. All right. Where do my StreamYards go? Where? R.I.P. Dankiel, he could not get away with it. Probably the dangly bits. You're not wrong. I'm gonna assume that's 100% a facial hair shaver. Yes. What's up, Danielle? How you doing? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You gotta remember, the rich don't go to prison like we do. It's strictly limited to us. All right. This might be a multi-parter. We might have to do multiple things on this one. All right, I still got him here. Like, it's been a month, and every time some weirdo journalist opens their damn mouth or creates a tweet, it's just nothing but hilarity. All right, let me make sure I got everything. Okay, there we go. There we go. I know everybody's ready for Stellar Blade. I know everybody's ready for Stellar Blade. All right, where's the... No, not you. Do want you, though. All right, there we go. That'll work. All right, where are we at? There we go. Every time a journalist. All right, let's do this. Every time a journalist opens their mouth or posts a tweet complaining about Stellar Blade, they absolutely get destroyed. And I know I previously covered how IGN France was seething over how Eve looked in Stellar Blade. Well, they offered a retraction, an apology, sort of, but not really. They kind of really just ended up doubling down. But it got even worse because, well, not only did they get ratioed, get absolutely destroyed on every platform they're on, Maxim Korea came out to shame them themselves. Even the women are shaming IGN. But that's what happens when game journalists try and white knight for terrible people. IGN offers official apology after French branch insults Stellar Blade director for choosing to create attractive female protagonists. So the writer Osala, per an English translation of his piece provided by this article's author, we're going to beat up the alien, but if we can do it while pleasuring the eyes of men, that's a bonus. And he goes on to say it's not new. In other games have made the choice to highlight the assets of their female characters, but where Bayonetta bears an iconic character design, or 2B from Nier Automata inspired an entire generation of cosplayers, Stellar Blade's Eve was just boring. A doll sexualized by someone who has never seen a woman. Now, I covered this in the previous video where I pointed out that the creator of the character is an attractive female. And I guess IGN just still missed that they 3D scanned a model into the game. They 3D scanned a real woman into the game. But they still missed all that. But here we go. Rather offer a retraction or correction, the outlet would instead attempt to defend their lack of journalistic integrity by blaming the public for having misread Osala's original words. A doll sexualized by someone who has never seen a woman to a doll sexualized by someone you would think has never seen a woman. A woman creates a woman character, and these absolute weirdo degens in the gaming journalist sphere are like, well, we said it to you would think have never seen a woman. Asala then added the condescending disclaimer in English that this last sentence has been slightly edited for French-speaking people pretending not to understand what we meant, and the English-speaking mob who Google Translate the initial text. So they're doubling down. They're just like, well, no, you would think it's someone who hasn't seen a woman. But of course, IGN goes to say, well, they changed the article because they got death threats. None of which they've shown, of course. And they keep going. They just keep going. They can't help themselves. Also, please note that IGN France is an independent branch of IGN and that IGN's editorial staff had nothing to do with this incident. IGN HQ is even throwing them under the bus. Like, we want no part of this. We don't. No. We're seeing what's happening here. We don't want to touch any of it. Not a single part of it. But the drama just doesn't stop. IGN France editor-in-chief Erwan Lafleurel implies Eve's design in Stellar Blade is killing women and accuses gamers of becoming too fragile due to being fed the patriarchy. That's right. It's the patriarchy's fault that a woman chose to design a female character and they just picked a woman up and 3D scanned her body. That's all the patriarchy. All the patriarchy. IGN France editor-in-chief Erwan Lafleur recently implied that Shift Up Corporation's design of their main character, even Stellar Blade, is killing women. He also asserted that gamers have become too fragile because of the patriarchy. It's a shame that women also like this character design. Guys who are afraid of hypersexualization as if it were dirty. Long live Neo-Puritans. As translated by ex-user Topek, here we go. Back to the tweets. Now that we know who this guy is. The problem is not the sexy design itself, except that it sucks compared to others, but hey, that doesn't matter. But the percentage of males who will only want this type of fictional body in reality, obviously we understand that this does not shock people who think that women are objects who must obey or be beaten. Like, I think that's the projection here. I think that's a projection. He wants to find an attractive woman he can beat. Not a necessary or specific designer or the game director. This is obvious to anyone who knows a little French. Only has this impact because a good portion of gamers have become too fragile due to the patriarchy. We've got the tweets. They think women are only attractive because the patriarchy exists. It's all the patriarchy's fault that women aren't fat and degenerate and awful. And if that's the case, long live the patriarchy. Long live the patriarchy. But I said I was gonna watch the Maxim video to see what they actually had to say. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna watch some Maxim here. Here we go.
인데요. 이 게임에 등장하는 이브 캐릭터의 바디 모델링은 맥심 표지 모델이기도 했던 신재은 씨를 기반으로 제작됐습니다. 현실에 존재하는 사람의 몸매를 기반으로 모델링한 캐릭터의 몸매가 비현실적이다. 이런 말이 되려나요? 요즘 여기저기서 많이 듣던 정치적 올바른 관련 이슈가 터진 건데요. 그래서 맥심에서 신재은 씨의 몸매는 실제로 현실에 존재하는 현실적인 몸매라는.
So if you're listening and you're not watching, Maxim Korea is essentially calling out the entire West by saying, we've been hearing a lot about political correctness and saying that women like this don't exist. Meanwhile, the person reading looks a lot like Eve. It's not the 3D body scan. Oh, it's pretty damn close. I approve of this message. I approve of this message. Oh, it's a toasty day today. Now that that's done. Pleasure in the eyes of men. That's a bonus hole. No, Patrick. No. Women don't have bonus holes. They have the appropriate number of holes. How can you see a woman? Women are not real. Women on the internet are not real. Women on the internet are not real. I think you got that backwards. The patriarchy is masculine. The soy boys are the ones arguing for feminism. So let's get that right. Really? I don't think so. I don't know. Let's I think Eve looks better. Let's see if I can get a side by side. I really don't think she does. I mean, I'm not saying it's an unattractive character at all. At all. Open image in new tab. See, I like Eve better. I mean, smash to both. But if you said, hey, you get a guaranteed one or the other, I'm taking Eve. I'm taking Eve. These AI generated videos are getting pretty good. Oh, fuck you. Fuck you. Yes, smash. Smash. Smash all day long. All right. Let's roll right into Disney. Let's roll right into Disney. Where does this end? Where does this end? Did I cover this one? I know Disney was a busy, or last week was a Disney. Last week was a busy Disney week. Thought I covered this one. Nope, I did it on thirds, so there's no way I did this one. Okay. All right. Yeah, we're doing this. I think I'm just going to be rehashing a lot of the points I said on this one. And all my highlights are gone. That's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I love when shit doesn't work. All right. All right. You know, we'll do this for a second. We're gonna do this for a second. Because I know you guys. I know what you guys want while I'm struggling to fix my shit. So we'll let you watch some Eve. Well, I take 30 seconds because I remember most of what I highlighted. Silver Surfer does not have milkers. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But that's probably why that movie is going to fail. At least I hope it does. I got to figure out why randomly pages lose all their highlights. We're going to try this. We're going to try this. All right. Yes, I know. I just took Eve away from you and put Bob Iger on the screen. I apologize. We'll see titties in a minute. Fuck me. All right. So, are you guys ready to talk about Disney? Are you ready? Spending too much time looking at Eve. That is why my highlights go away. You're probably right. You are probably right. So last week we had the Disney shareholder meeting where Bob Iger got elected again to the board, and Nelson Peltz is not sitting there. And the entire cope of everybody who's pixie dusting for Disney was, but look how much their stock prices have gone up. Not thinking for 1 second that the stock prices started going up when Nelson Peltz said he wanted a seat on the board to change what Disney's doing. So instead of losing billions of dollars, they could actually start printing money again. But no, that cannot happen because that would bruise and ruin Bob Iger's ego. So Bob Iger takes to media to go right back into gaslighting everybody to say, we've never done this woke stuff. He's never done it. But all the times he said it, we immediately get more gender and race swapped characters coming into Disney because that's exactly what they're doing. They are pandering to the woke crowd, losing billions of dollars, and then saying it's not happening. So here we go. In what feels like a textbook case of gaslighting, CEO Bob Iger has claimed that contrary to popular criticism, the entertainment conglomerate does not consider the inclusion of socio-political messaging in their projects to be a number one priority. Number one priority. It is. It absolutely is. Further pressed by Fabek as to his thoughts on both Musk and Peltz's perspective, anti-woke campaigns, Iger affirmed, people have been coming after me and the company for years, and it's just I don't get distracted by those things. Maybe you should. Maybe you should. So let's see what happened to the stock prices over the last 6 months here. They were in the absolute gutter. The absolute gutter. And here you can start seeing where Nelson Peltz says he's coming after Disney. He wants his investors to make money that they were promised. But, stock prices go up and up and up and up and up. And then what happens over the last week? They have their meeting, and the stock instantly tanks. People were praying and hoping that Peltz would get in and change Disney into a good company again. But that didn't happen. But further in the interview, he gets pushback. But the woke thing has had more of an impact. I mean, you've said to me that you would love to just be out of the culture wars. Do you feel like you're succeeding at that? Iger then says, well, yes, Iger then says, well, I think yes. I mean, I think that noise has sort of quieted down. No, it hasn't. It absolutely has not. You literally released a gender swapped Silver Surfer an hour and a half after your stock or your shareholders meeting. An hour and a half. A gender swapped character that everybody's been complaining about you doing for years. And he goes on to say, I've been preaching this for a long time and at the company before I left. And since I came back, that our number one goal is to entertain. Entertain who? You left that blank, and I think you did it for a reason. He goes on to say, I think, but the term woke was thrown around rather liberally. Okay, actually, I kind of agree with him on that one. No pun intended in that regard. I think a lot of people don't even understand really what it means. The bottom line is that infusing messaging as a sort of number one priority in our films and TV shows is not what we're up to, but you do it in every movie and TV show you put out, every single one of them. Perfect example. The Ahsoka show was nothing but women doing badass things that women don't do while taking absolute dumps on male characters. You guys put out a comic book that was literally a bunch of women in a rock and called it Star Wars. The rock was literally called Rock. It did nothing. Like, who is that for? Are you pandering to the rock community? No, you have terrible writers who have nothing but woke identity politics. And you hire them and you keep them. And they keep putting out this garbage. And you're like, we're totally not pandering to those people. But you are. You are. And that's why you keep losing money. That's why you're costing everybody money. That's why nobody goes to see your movies. That's why your movie theaters are empty. Because you are pandering. And you're gaslighting people and saying you're not. All right, rant over. Oh, where did we leave off? Let's go. Oh God, not a family park. Nobody knows what woke means. This is on purpose. No, I can tell you exactly what woke is. It's Marxist communism based on gender identity or identity politics, not just gender identity. It is Marxism communism based on identity politics. It's really quite easy. The only way to pander to the normies is to change the meaning of words on a weekly basis. Yeah, they absolutely do that. Absolutely, without a doubt. And I say it's Marxism communist based on identity politics. It creates nothing because there's no creative or critical thinkers in it. All they can do is repeat what they're told by whoever's controlling it, right? So they're not creating anything. We see that. That's a checkbox. It's all based on equality, where everybody gets absolutely nothing because nothing is all they have. And it's entirely based on identity, right? That's why it's, they, them, zher, whatever the absolute transgender weirdoism is. And it props up people who are absolute garbage based on their skin color, their race, and if they agree with them. It is that's exactly what it is. It's stealing what other people have created that has been successful. It infiltrates them, and then it destroys them from the inside out. It is a very, very apt description of what it is. It's absolutely Marxism. The sad bit is that the foot soldiers don't even know what they are buying into. Yeah. I mean, I guarantee you, if you ask these people, did you eat breakfast? If they say yes, how would you feel if you didn't eat breakfast? They'd be like, but I did eat breakfast. Right? They cannot conceptualize anything outside of what they can see and what they're told. These are absolute low IQ people. But that's what communism attracts. The lowest of IQs. The absolute lowest. Because I've done that a couple times on Twitter. Ask them, how would you feel if you didn't eat breakfast? And they'll be like, but I did eat breakfast. Now they don't respond anymore. They're starting to catch on. We can figure out their low IQ pretty damn easy. And by catch on, I mean somebody told them not to talk to anybody. It's like when we see people go up and talk to them at their protest. People have to come up and say, don't talk to them. You can't talk to them because exposed. You can't get that negative exposure. All right. So now we're going to talk about Nintendo because Nintendo may have accidentally just taken an entire dump on the Western game industry and called out all of their BS. All of it. Oh, that one's there. Okay. All right. You ready to hear about Nintendo and how it's doing the exact opposite of every Western gaming developer? Y'all ready to hear that? All right, let's do it. I'm ready. It's rough when you have to think, I know. Does web brain count as thinking, Patrick? All right, let's go. Since the beginning of the year, we have watched as Western game devs and entertainment as an entirety has had to lay off thousands of people because they can't bring in enough money to sustain their policies. And that's a far cry from the 10,000 total last year to laying off almost 10,000 in the first 3 months of 2024. But of all these layoffs, one company comes out and says, we don't have enough people to keep up with the demand for our games. And that just happens to be Nintendo. Japan's games industry weathers the storm of layoffs worldwide. While 2023 was a stellar year in the eyes of game enthusiasts, with the release of much-loved titles such as the latest installment of Legend of Zelda and Baldur's Gate 3, this year has far seen game companies generate headlines for an altogether different reason: mass layoffs. From Microsoft to Sony Interactive Entertainment, industry giants have shed hundreds of employees, with games canceled as a result. Not hundreds, thousands. If we calculate them all, I do believe it's upwards of 15 or 20,000. I did it in a previous video. I gotta find that and do another video on that. So when you go to compare Japan to the rest of the world, it's stable as a rock, said Serkan Toto, head of Tokyo-based video game consultancy Kantan Games. In January, Microsoft laid off 1,900 employees across Activision Blizzard and Xbox, according to an internal memo leaked to the media. In February, Sony Entertainment president Jim Ryan told staffers that the company was reducing global headcount by around 900 people, an 8% cut to the workforce that would also see the closing of PlayStation's London studio. The same month, EA also cut headcount. While companies overseas are laying off thousands, studios in Japan are scrambling to attract and retain talent. Japanese companies are actually doing the exact opposite of what the game companies or direct competitors in the West are doing. And that's not going woke. That's not injecting identity politics into their games. Japanese companies also place stronger emphasis on long-term employee loyalty, Inoue said, noting that this may contribute to greater stability within the workforce, reducing the likelihood of mass layoffs during challenging times. They also fire feminists. I've covered that in videos. Literally cover that. A feminist comes in and starts preaching that feminist nonsense. They fire him. They kick him out. They're like, nah, fam, get out of here. At the same time, Inoue said Japan's robust domestic gaming market is less reliant on international sales and as a result, less vulnerable to fluctuations in the global market trends. Again, the Western companies are propped up by these DEI companies who pay them to stay afloat. But they can only pay them so much. I've covered it in a previous video how BlackRock has had to start cutting employees because nobody's investing in BlackRock anymore because they have killed everything. So while every other company is failing and dealing with getting what they call mass dislikes and hate campaigns for creating DEI games, and nobody's buying their games, they're laying off people. But companies like Japan and Korea fire the feminist weirdos and are making absolute bank with people in the West supporting their content. I wonder what the problem is. Surely it's not us. It's quite literally the meme. Am I out of touch? No, it's the kids who are out of touch. No, you are out of touch. It is absolutely you and you absolute weirdos injecting woke politics into everything. All right. All right. 10% would be decimation. There was a company that laid off 20%. There was one that laid off 20%. I want to say it was Creative Assembly. I think it's been a couple that have come up close to 20%. Like the Western companies have quite literally laid off 20% of their employees. So it's beyond decimation for a lot of these companies. All right. Yeah, it's mind-boggling to me that these companies. Hold on. Let's do this. It's mind-boggling to me that these companies will sit there and attack their fans, call them racist, every ist in the book, every single one of them, and then demand that they pay them for games that they say are not for them and they shouldn't buy because there's some sort of ist. And then they sit there and like, we have no idea why our company's failing. It must be that nobody has money for games. It's certainly not that we've told them not to buy our games. It's certainly not that we've told them to, shut up and just give us your money. It's all the fans' fault. It's all their fault. We're doing nothing wrong. That kind of just rolls into this. Government broadcaster Radio Canada accuses Sweet Baby Inc. detected Steam curator group creator Brutus of leading a cyber harassment campaign. A cyber harassment campaign. 363,000 followers now. Fucking good job. The cyber harassment campaign is The Crew Motorfest, not recommended. Flintlock, not recommended. Awakening, not recommended. Sao, not recommended. Just not recommending games. Gotham Knights, that was a woke game, not recommended. Let's see what other big ones are on here. Sable, not recommended. Suicide Squad, not recommended, of course. That was atrocious. That game was actually atrocious. Oh, my screen. Okay, there we go. We're back. But that's what they consider a harassment game, saying, hey, these woke weirdos are working on these games. They tell us how much they hate us. They tell us how much they want us gone. They tell us not to spend our money with them. So you know what? We're going to document what games they say not to do that on. And now they're calling it a harassment campaign. So according to the Canadian government-run Broadcaster Radio Canada, the individual who kicked off the current round of video games industry discourse with his creation of Sweet Baby Inc. detected Steam curator group, Cabrutus, can be best described not as an unhappy customer concerned with the ongoing DEI, but as a leader of a cyber harassment campaign. Just pointing out that these companies worked on these games is now considered a harassment campaign. All these companies are going to go into hiding. The French-speaking branch of the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation leveled this accusation towards the Brazilian video game player in an April 4th summary piece entitled Too Woke. A Montreal video game studio is a victim of harassment. A harassment campaign because, hey, look what they worked on. Everybody hated it. Here's other games they're working on or have worked on. That's harassment. Itself written with the intention of giving the outlet's readers a heavily slanted recap of the current Sweet Baby Inc. discourse. Oh, these are terrible games. Like Spider-Man 1 versus Spider-Man 2. What they did to Mary Jane should be considered a war crime, and they should go rafter swinging after being convicted. That's exactly how that is. Turning their attentions to the Steam curator group itself, Radio Canada next detailed their readers, 350,000. That's the number of subscribers to a list on the Steam platform named Sweet Baby Inc. Detected. Good job. Which list of video games with studios and its members have worked on. Our inbox went from a few messages a day to a few hundred. We have gotten thousands of emails from people who want us to disappear. Good. Take the advice. Go away. Take it away. Take it. Just run. Just go away. Nope. That should point out how bad you are. People find out who you are and they're like, okay, this company sucks. Go away. We really do consulting work, he continued. We get hired by clients who have already made their game more inclusive and who want it to be more credible. But they don't do just consultation work. They really don't. Here we can look at the number of writers they had on each of the game. Batman Arkham Asylum. I think everybody loved that one. I liked that one. I liked Arkham City. I never played Origins. Arkham Knight wasn't bad. But here we go. Gotham Knights, 14 writers too, which were Sweet Baby Inc. staff, which we know, by their own words, terrify people into getting their way. And then Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, 26 writers, half of which were Sweet Baby Inc. staff. And they're saying, well, we only consult. We don't actually write. All these decisions are made long before we get there. Which, to be fair, they might be made long before, but as soon as they get there, they blackmail their way into changing the games. In 2014, a cyber harassment campaign called into question the objectivity of video game reviews and, more widely, the place of women in video games industry. We call into question journalistic integrity, and they immediately jump to, they hate women. The starting point, a history of sexual relations between a game designer and a journalist, as reported by her ex-spouse. Gamergate was, hey, you guys probably shouldn't screw the game devs to get, inside stories. You just hate women. Providing yet another quote ostensibly sought with a specific intention of bolstering their fear-mongering, Radio Canada then cited University of Quebec and Montreal video games research Maud Bonifant, who recall of Gamergate, it was very violent. As soon as someone spoke out, it created waves everywhere. The only people who died in that were the ones that were falsely accused of inappropriate activity with women. To which all of the women later said, yeah, we made it all up. The only people who died in that were men. Men who were falsely accused by women. Who had their lives ruined. Who lost everything. Because these women were so ashamed of what they did. They decided to lie about it to get other people killed. What does Canadian radio have to say to that? What do they have to say to that? Drawing the report to a close, Radio Canada ultimately questioned whether or not the industry was in the early stages of a wildfire. The Sweet Baby Inc. team is a little by little getting used to the idea that the harassment and threats that they're receiving are their new reality. Again, they don't post them. They don't post anything. I saw one person post an email. Get this, okay. Go try and make a Gmail email with a racial slur as your username. See what happens. The only one I've seen that had threats was from a Gmail account that was had racial slurs in the username. You can't do that. Tells me everything they're doing is fake. They're faking the hate mail to try and get people to sympathize with them. But no, they're not going to question that. You don't question the narrative. You just go with the agenda. All right. But again, that's probably why Sweet Baby Ink Detected now has 363,000. 363,000 followers. You're the baddies. All right. Brutus is nothing more than the leader of a consumer advocacy movement. I don't think he's okay. I've listened to him on other streams. He's not a leader. He's just a dude that wanted to catalog things. Right? He's not charging into the movement. He's not dude's really cool. Don't think I'm taking a dump on him. He did something good. It's getting a ton of traction. He's got a ton of support for it. I absolutely fucking believe in the dude for doing this page. But he's not a leader, right? He's not leading any charges. Maybe I missed something because there's so much going on. I mean, I hope that dude puts some sort of dev team together and puts out just a normal game. Canadian radio would probably respond, it was not a war crime the first time. We all know the Canadians are all about war crimes. Yeah, they are. Oh, Canada's done some nasty things. Everyone's like, no, the Canadians are nice. Yeah, go look up their history in war. Change that real quick. Yeah, and like I said, I'm not shitting on the dude. I'm more shitting on your point. I think Brutus is doing something amazing, and I like the way he's going about it. All right. This one made me laugh. It's another IGN article. Oh. This one had me. It had me. I almost wanted to buy the game, and then I remembered, oh, it's just a bunch of weird lesbian talking points. I'm not buying the game. But it made me want to buy the game. Oh. Hold on, I gotta pull it together. Only dogs hear dog whistles. I'm gonna say that now. Banner bear, yeah, no, standard bear. I'll absolutely give him that. He's hoisting the colors. IGN's just not having a good couple of years at all. At all. Let me do this. That tab's missing too. I hate when I get weird mustache hairs that just fall right on my lip. All right, here we go. Let's do this. Let's do it this way. I think this will work. We're going to try. Oops. I thought I turned that off. Oh, well. Okay, here we go. Some of you might be old enough or might remember Life is Strange and how last year it passed 20 million players after 8 years. Did absolutely fantastic. And even though it had some weird politics, it actually wasn't political. The main characters were, we'll just say, women who liked women, but they didn't push the ideology. It was just a well designed character, a well designed storyline. It didn't push agendas. And I think that's why it did so well. Even though it still had the undertones, it didn't slap you in the face with it. It still provided you with a decent game. Well, jump to 2024. How hidden WW2 bad guy symbols were the tip of a toxic iceberg at Life is Strange developers Deck 9. The cope in this one and the absolute BS made up to try and bring down this developer is absolutely insane. And it's from the people they pandered to by making the game. Initially, developers noticed a reference to the number 88 and flagged the issue to their bosses, assuming it was an innocent mistake. But in the ensuing weeks, others found more problematic signs and in-universe labels, such as references to racist memes, the number 18, and the Hegel runes. Only dogs hear dog whistles. Only dogs hear dog whistles. As the number of possible hate symbols mounted, staff grew increasingly concerned that someone was putting these items in their game deliberately as a dog whistle to white supremacy. Oh, thank God. You can't even. Oh. Its most recent entry, Life is Strange True Colors, won Games for Impact at the Games Award in 2021 and the GLAAD Media Award for Outstanding Video Game. With such a reputation, developers tell me there was an expectation that any whiff of hate speech would immediately be removed and thoroughly investigated. They claim that the C-suite has protected multiple abusive leaders, encouraging crunch and allowed bullying of individuals advocating for internally for more authentic representations in Life is Strange. It's a fictional video game. It's all about representation. It's all about representation. It's about the message. How dare you go against the message? Encouraging crunch. You know, if you busted your ass when they first came up with the concept and put you all in your rooms and gave you the computers to work on it, you probably wouldn't have to crunch as much. But no, what do we see out of all these game developers? They spend all their time at Starbucks, going out to cons, just, hey, subscribe to me, pay me money. Here's all my links to give me money, send me coffees, do all that other garbage. And then the time comes where it's, hey, we've got to get this game out in 2 months. What do we have completed? Nothing. Yeah, it's your fault the crunch happens. It's your fault. That's not abuse. That's you not doing a job and then having to rush to do the job. The same people who wouldn't work on projects until the night before and then turned in some garbage and were like, I deserve an A, my project. No, it wasn't. It was terrible. It was terrible. Dex 9's first crack at the Square Enix popular narrative series involves significant crunch, and while efforts were made to improve workloads on True Colors, overtime never fully vanished. One anonymous individual told me they worked 70 to 80 hours a week for an entire month straight on True Colors. Oh, that's cute. I remember my first part-time job. 70 to 80 hours a week sitting in a computer in air conditioning. Yeah, these people are so privileged. Dude, I was pulling 90 hours a week in construction 6 days a week if I was lucky. But you want to know what sucks? Being 120 degrees outside on a 70-foot boom lift, drilling into concrete and brick to run pipe and cabling. That sucks. You know what I enjoy and I don't complain about now? Now that I have a desk job, sitting at a computer in AC, not sweating my balls off, not having to go home and take a cold shower so that the insulation doesn't get into my skin and make me itch for the next week. Oh, you want me to work a little bit of overtime? Oh, I got to pull some extra numbers. Oh, I've got to, sit here for a little bit longer and work on something. Yeah, no problem. You're paying me for it? Okay. Works. These privileged, entitled little bastards. Another described taking on weeks of crunch to protect other team members, saying it was never mandated, but there was always way too much to get done in the allotted time. Hold on. Another described taking a week of crunch to protect other team members. So you were doing other people's work because they didn't want to do it, and you're complaining about that. Let the work fail. Let them get fired. That seems like the reasonable thing to do. Much of the crunch developers say was the direct result of the relationship between Deck 9 and Square Enix. Several people told me it felt as though Square Enix had sold Life is Strange to the lowest bidder, and that was frequently reflected in the production schedules with tight deadlines and small budgets. So they're not wasting money. That seems like a smart business decision. Hurry up and get this game out. We're not hiring useless people. Just do your job. I guess that's their problem. Do your job. Another source elaborated, Square always put a lot of pressure on our people, so that toxicity started to bleed into the environment too. Do your job is not toxic. It's commie speak. It's commie speak. They think they should get paid to do no work or do the work on their time frame, and whenever it gets finished, it gets finished. But you have to pay them the entire time they're doing it. Sure, Life is Strange is Square Enix owned IP, but sources told me Square Enix seemed oddly reluctant or outright hostile to the diverse themes and ideas that Life is Strange fans love. I think what they're... Oh, hold on. For instance, multiple people recalled an incident during True Colors development where Square Enix told multiple developers it didn't want Life is Strange to be thought of as gay game. I'm pretty sure I get what they're getting at with this. They wanted everything to be, every single sentence to involve, we're gay guys, And Square Enix was like, nah, you're not doing it. And they're mad about it. There's a lot of press out there praising True Colors for having the first bisexual lead in Life is Strange game, said Mallory Littleton, a narrative designer who worked on Deck 9 on multiple Life is Strange titles, even in our press guides for Square Enix, all the way up until review copies were out. We were not to say anything about Alex's sexuality, period, at all. That's the way it should be. That's what it is. They are unhappy and mad that they can't have a gay pride parade to advertise their game because Square Enix has seen it. We see it in every company that does it. All they do is prance around how gay it is, how woke it is, and people don't buy it. Everybody shits on it, and they're like, yeah, you guys aren't doing that. We're not going to let you do that. You cannot prance around saying how gay this game is. And that's what they're mad about. So now they're looking for anything that's a dog whistle that they can throw out there to try and get people out of the game so they can do everything they want to do, which, I mean, for Square Enix was smart to say, hey, we'll sell it to y'all. We'll sell you the game. You can do whatever you want. Sell it for pennies and watch it die. That would be the most base thing Square Enix could do. Sell them the game, say, sure, do whatever you want. We're not responsible for it anymore. We're just going to put a public statement out. We no longer own the game. We no longer own the IP. Have fun. Oh, the game would die in a heartbeat. That game would die in a heartbeat. Which game is Life is Strange? I kind of went over that in the article. Scissor Sisters. Oh. Are the mid-century Austrian painters in the room with us? That's a good one. That's a good one. It's sleazy. How are we going to get our daily allotment of cucumber water and mud mask? We will be traumatized without foot rubs and head pats. Yeah, that's kind of what it seems like. All right. Do I have... I desperately need to go take a leak. So give me 2 minutes. I thought I could hold it to the end of the show. It's not happening. I thought that was going to loop. Why did that not loop? Oh, I didn't select loop. I thought I did. Oops, my bad, guys. All right. I'm back, though. I'm back. That dude is still in the comments section, like, trying to cope. Yeah, I'm a boomer. Totally a boomer. God. Shadow, did you happen to see the comments on my Matt Walsh video calling him a boomer? He's not that old. He can't be a boomer. Nobody says boomer like that. Like, bruh. God. Conservative simps are the worst. All right. Was life as strange about that girl changing events around her friend's death, but basically the universe was trying to kill her to the point of cleansing all life? Yeah. Like, it was an interesting story. It was kind of fun to watch. I don't think it was anything spectacular, but it was definitely interesting. Because it wasn't that weird time where everybody started making narrative story games, like the Telltales. It was around that time that everybody started doing that kind of thing. And this one lost all the highlights. Oh my god. Okay, whatever. This one's kind of short, isn't it? Yeah. All right. Yeah, that. Yeah. I have the info in the back of my head. I gotta search through so much. It takes time to get there and figure it all out. It's like, oh, I don't know if any of you guys have watched the movie Dreamcatcher or read the book. Why did my voice crack? Or read that book, but like in the movie where the guy's in his head and he's like shuffling things around to different rooms and they're all like old memories. Like, it's kind of how my brain works. Like, what door was that behind? Which box is that in? I read this headline as people want shooter games, and this is right. You're not wrong. I would not wish my brain on anybody. Would not wish my brain on anybody. All right. All right. We're almost there. We're almost there. I got 3 more topics, guys. This is a long show. This is a long show. All right. Patrick, we've done like 8 topics already. I think I'm going to have 12 videos. I got to figure out when I'm going to schedule them all. I'm going to put out like 4 or 5 videos a day this week. Fuck. Just 3. You ass. I don't know. One of these is gonna trigger a lot of people. All right. You assholes. You are all assholes. I still love y'all, but y'all are assholes. Yeah, I still got work. That's why I'm kind of like rushing through these. Not talking with you guys this much. I knew there was a lot to cover. All right. Hellblade 2 devs. Hellblade 2 devs. With the West making absolutely horrific games that nobody spends any time playing, game developers are starting to say, well, maybe the fans just want shorter games. It's not that we're making terrible games that don't keep people involved. You know, we didn't just have Baldur's Gate come out and do absolute fantastic numbers with people still playing it en masse. Or Helldivers, where people have not stopped playing the game at all. They just keep playing the game. They spend their time playing the game. Well, Hellblade 2 comes out with the strange point that people just want shorter games. And they're right. People don't want shorter games. They want good games they can play for a while. Senua's Saga Hellblade 2 is set to follow in its predecessor's footsteps as a digital-only shorter experience. Ninja Theory's follow-up to the 2017 psychological horror action game will run about 8 hours and cost only $50 compared to the $70. We paid $30 for Helldivers, and I've got about 100 hours in that game. 100 hours. If you prefer longer experiences, this might be too much money for you or too little game. For some, it's a black and white as whether or not it's a game clear the dollar per hour metric. That's heading into a very, very dark day for gaming when they're charging you per the hour to play game. That's what they're getting at. That's what they're getting to. More DLC. The idea that you should be able to get as many hours out of a game as the dollar you pay for it. However, Ninja Theory says it believes that fans have become more open to shorter games. No, they still want games they can play for a while. How are you justifying? Well, if we give you a shorter game that's $50 versus, a game you can spend hundreds of hours that's $70, I'm getting more bang for the buck out of this $70 game. Nobody's going to remember your game, but maybe that's why Baldur's Gate is still around. With as many problems as Dragon Dogma 2 has, people are still buying the game. People like playing the longer games. They like playing games for a while. They don't want this ADHD weird thing where you play a game for 30 minutes and it's over. In an interview with IGN, Ninja Theory studio head Dom Matthews said Hellblade's 2's shorter runtime was an intentional choice, as a brisker game was in line with the story the developers wanted to tell, and it came naturally as part of the developing around the protagonist Senua's arc in the sequel. Hold on. I got another one. Titanfall 2. Titanfall 2 is about 8 hours long. It has one of the most devout fan bases I have ever seen. They are still playing it to this day. But the complaint was it was too short of a campaign. Too short of a campaign. You didn't have enough playtime. Granted, the multiplayer is still live. Everybody's playing that. I absolutely love it. The game is fantastic. But the complaint isn't that the games are too long, it's that they're always too short. And I think they make them short because they can't come up with a good story. All right, so what does he go on to say? So it's not really a case of setting out to make shorter experiences. I think it is there is a story that we want to tell here with a beginning, middle, and end, and what is right to shape and size the experience to tell that story. So that kind of where we start. Okay, but if you make it a game that only if you make a game that's only 8 hours long, and is that a man? I'm pretty sure that's a man. Moving on. I'm disgusted. The original Hellblade's success is a testament to this, as it clocks in around 7 to 8 hours. Matthew told IGN the studio has established an audience for shorter games. Cool, but don't expect it to take off or be a good game. Don't, especially if you're dropping the price because it's a shorter game. You're not going to make a ton of money. And with the studios absolutely wasting money on all this weird nonsense that they have to include into games, you're shrinking that audience even more. You know, you're not putting out good games. You're putting out weird stuff. He also thinks digital storefronts and alternative price to the typical more expensive box copies have opened the industry up to games of all shapes and sizes. I've always had a problem with digital copies being the exact same price as physical media, and I have a problem with games not having physical copies. I know it's kind of a weird thing because I'm about to contradict myself in saying it doesn't actually matter anymore. Because even if you buy the physical copy, most of these games always have to be online, so you can't even play them. You can't play them if you're not synced up to the server. That's what Ubisoft's done with so many of their games. They made them always online, and if you can't connect online, you can't play the game at all. EA is doing the same thing. It doesn't matter if you have digital or physical or digital media now. It's the same. You can't play it unless you're online, unless you're approved to play the game. So, you know, I contradicted myself by saying I prefer physical media, but the reality is it doesn't matter anymore. All right, so it goes on to say, I think there's a lot of pressure on people's time these days, and I think our fans, from what we hear from them, they enjoy shorter games where our intentions is that every step of the journey is meaningful. I hope you live by that because you will die by that if you don't. There's an audience of people that want games that are focused. You can have a long game and play a game for a very long time and still be focused. It sounds to me like they have a terrible storyline and they're trying to get ahead of it and say, well, we just tried to make it shorter to keep people's attention. But maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe I am wrong on that. But this all just sounds like cope because they know they made a terrible game and they're trying to get ahead of it and they're trying to get people to buy it. All right. I never said I wasn't doing that. I never said I wasn't doing that. I will go retro and have great replayability. I am okay if you are going to do a short story game that has no replayability, but then charge $5. Yes. Yes. I want Titanfall 3 so bad, but I am terrified of what we're going to get. I am terrified of what we're going to get. Fuck, I did it in a video. Because Respawn came up in a video I did. It might have been the Black Girl Gamers video. Might have been the Black Girl where they said they were going to do better to be more inclusive. Yeah. I'm terrified. I am terrified of what they're going to do with if Titanfall 3 comes out, what they're going to do with it. I'll spend $50 on a good binding with a good good book with a good binder that I can read over and over again. Some trash I would pick up the paperbacks. Yeah. No, Okay. Hardback 40K novels. You're not the only one, Patrick. My library isn't for show, it's for use. It's like I got the Dune paperbacks because they're so easy to replace. All right. All right. Let's talk about Helldivers. What's going on, Shaka? How you doing? You're a little late, but these next two article or these next two topics are going to be a little bit spicy. Just a little bit spicy. But it wouldn't be me if I wasn't spicy, right? Oh. I'm curious, are they? Before I start reading this, are they? Absolutely. I heard they had to. Well, we're about to talk about that. We're about to talk about all that. Oh, here we go. No, she's still a moderator, but she took her flags down. Yeah, I saw that. Okay. Before I get into this, redacted, but not enough. Yes, I think half of this is absolute weirdos, and it's a fucking Discord community. Like, one, quit hiring these people, but two, it's a Discord community, and I think it's both sides trying to stir up shit to get clicks. So, yeah, just remember, both sides stirring up shit to get clicks so they can grift and get some money. That's my take. But we're about to get into it. Maybe I'll do a little deeper explanation. So Helldivers flew onto the gaming scene, got massive numbers of players, people flooding servers. They couldn't keep up the servers because there's just too many people. Everybody loves the game. Everybody's fighting for Super Earth. Everybody's being absolute based giga chads. Where we get stories about how people are banned from communities for saying you need to import more DEI woke nonsense. We get stories of people saying we want like Trump memes in there. They get banned too. It's just a game that avoids politics and doesn't do anything in terms of the game itself. The communities are a whole different story, though. Helldivers 2 community manager Catherine Baskin declares the game is pretty woke and reveals the game was banning individuals she and the developer Arrowhead Game Studios deemed bigots, transphobes, and homophobes, and racists. As brought to the public attention by Mark Kern, aka Grums, on X last month, Baskin replied to a Steam curator list that recommended Helldivers 2 and claimed that the game was not woke. She initially wrote, LMAO. It's not woke. It's why there are no LGBT capes in there with all the weirdos spamming that they want them. However, in a later response later in the thread, she wrote, plus, Helldivers is pretty woke, dog. Game was made by a lot of LGBTQ and brown and black people and women, and it's a big satire of jingoism. She added, it amuses me that they don't know that Super Earth is bad. It also explains a lot about the world at present. They keep saying satire. It's not satire, it's parody. It parodies a lot of different things. And you know what? Everybody who plays it doesn't care because it's a good game and it doesn't do anything with politics. It leaves it alone. You fight for Super Earth to save humanity, kill the bugs, you kill the robots, you have fun, you absolutely wipe them off the face of the galaxy. The God Emperor of Mankind is pleased. In that same thread, Baskin revealed that she and the developer Arrowhead Game Studios were banning individuals from the game's Discord that they deemed as bigots. She wrote, here we go. Don't they ban people from their Discord for suggesting that they add LGBT colored capes? Yes. But not being able to come to terms that that is happening. No, we only ban the biggest transphobes, homophobes, racists are not welcome in our community. We had to restrict the topics in Helldivers 2 general chat for a while because it was triggering massive waves of hate speech, which our staff was struggling with emotionally. Turn off the computer, quit your job. If you can't handle people's words on a computer, turn it off, walk away. Cyberbullying isn't real. You can walk away. You can turn it off. You're not forced to sit at your computer. And you're a Discord manager. You are the lowest form of a community manager ever. You're down there with Reddit. But here's my spicy take on this one. Grums, if I don't report fairly or omit facts, I would just be Kotaku. This really sucks. So everyone on my feed, are now looking into Helldivers community manager, and I'm getting sent stuff. And he posted a bunch of her tweets. But why go for it? Why go for it? Why not just say it's still a based game? There's nothing woke in the game. Why are you trying to stir up hate for the game? Like, why would you do that? Which kind of led me to ask some questions about why this Grums guy is, so recently lauded in the community, and why should we pay attention to him? And I have serious questions. Now, I mean, hats off for pointing this out. And I think he's doing this strictly to be clickbait and get a ton of followers and go on streams and make himself popular. Because when I dig into his history, I'm kind of curious why he needed to delete almost 13,000 tweets. I have questions. Because anytime we see anybody deleting that number of tweets, it's usually because they said stuff in their past they don't want people to find out. We're not talking about like 50 or 20 tweets or some bad stuff, some bad takes. We're talking 13,000. It's not an insignificant number. So I have questions on why he's doing this and why specifically with Helldivers, the game that everybody's playing and everybody loves. But I'll leave that one up to you guys to think on that one a little bit more. Remember, Baskinator is the community manager. She is the developer's face to the community. If she cannot keep her politics out of Discord, no, absolutely. I mean, he seems cool, but I mean, how many times has somebody jumped into this side of the argument out of nowhere? And, you find out later that it's all a grift. They end up being like Jack Murphy or Ashley St. Clair, who pretends to be a conservative when in all actuality she was doing porn like 3 years ago. No, that's bad. That's bad. We'd never do that. Yet it's out there. Like I think our alignment to just wanting good games, it seems a lot of people are way too trusting of people just because they say one thing they like. Like, what was the dude who did the country song? Richmond. What was it? The Richmond North of Richmond song. Like everybody hopped on, super bass dude, and it's like, well, then everybody finds out he's Democrat. Oh well, never mind. I mean, he still made good points, but you threw money at a dude you knew nothing about. Like, people to take a step back and instead of saying he said the right words, we're gonna throw money at him. Be like, okay, why is this person saying the right words now? I think he is censoring himself from the left. Why? Do you censor yourself from the left? That I don't understand that argument. He's censoring himself from the left more than hiding stuff. Yeah, and that's why I have concerns. Anybody who goes through and deletes a lot of their social history and then comes out saying a lot of the right things that everybody wants to hear, I inherently question, which is why I brought up the second topic on Nala. I don't believe a single word of what she says. I don't believe she's saved at all. I think it's all a grift to get more money. Like the amount of coping from the right saying, no, she accepted Jesus. She's saved now. We should throw more money at her. Why? She didn't delete her OnlyFans for a couple months after she got baptized. Everybody's like, well, it takes time to delete OnlyFans. No, it doesn't. Today, somebody was like, well, it takes 30 days before they'll delete the account. I made an OnlyFans and I deleted it 5 minutes later. Everybody's like, well, the subscriptions are still active. You can't cancel it while it has a subscription. Literally went to the site where it says you can cancel and refund subscriptions and delete it then. She didn't want to do that. She wanted to keep the money. She wanted to keep that $9 million she made and grift more people by saying, look, I'm saved. I dip myself in water. I'm Christian. I believe in Jesus now. But she doesn't. She doesn't. And I lost the timestamp. There's a part of this where she says, oh yeah, as soon as I accepted Jesus, I instantly lost all my desires for all the sins. Instantly, just like that. Poof, they're all gone. Nobody. You talk to drug addicts, you talk to people who are doing crime, they're like, it's the hardest thing. I accepted Jesus. Every day was a fight to make myself better. Not, oh, I just accepted Jesus and all my sins are gone and I just quit doing everything instantaneously. She's still got her Reddit up. She's still got links up. She's still got backup accounts up. It's all a grift. She does not believe anything she's saying, but she's a pretty girl on the internet. So the right will rush because she said the right words at the right time. They want to throw money at her. She bats her eyelashes, puts on a smile, says, look at me. I'm now a conservative. Like, no, you're not. You gotta earn trust. I think that's where I differ from a lot of people. Prove to me you're changed. Prove to me. I'm not going to accept it overnight because you said you changed. Prove to me you're changed. I'm not going to simp for people. Like we had Jack Murphy. Jack Murphy comes out. Well, I was a Democrat, but I changed. Well, that didn't take too long before we found out he was still doing inserting things into his rear for money still. No, I'm totally changed, bro. I'm totally alpha giga Chad. Just ignore me writing articles about how I'm a cuck. I'm totally base now. That wasn't true. How about Vivek? Everybody loved what Vivek was saying. Oh yeah, no, totally. Every single talking point, straight down the list. Straight down the list. We find out secret recordings. You can't vote for Trump. I'm the only person that can save Trump. It's only me. I'm the only person. Ron DeSantis, everybody's like, look how good he's doing in Florida. As soon as he steps on that presidential stage, straight to neocon. Straight to neocon. Just as bad as Nikki Haley. I don't understand. I don't understand why nobody questions anything that people who suddenly say they're on the right side of politics or even against the woke left instantly become their favorite people until they find something out a few months later. Like, I don't get it. I mean, if you want to take people at face value, you're setting yourself up for disappointment every time. Make them prove they earned your dollar. That's it. Prove to me you're worthy of my money. I work hard for my money. I've built myself up. Why should I give it to you? When 2 months ago you were calling us bigots and fascists. Now it's, well, I changed. You changed because you saw where the money is. Yeah, he was. He was World of Warcraft. That kind of went down to hill, so. Yeah, I mean, so is Gothics. Gothics was part of Black Gamer Girls, whatever it was, and then starts going on the anti-race swapping stuff, and suddenly she's showing up on everything. It's like, why people don't wake up one day and change their entire ideology, the entire way they think, the entire way they do things. Like, you have to develop that. And if you don't accept Cuck Murphy's apology, you're not a Christian. Yeah, no, literally, that's their entire point. Like, this broad was out there sleeping with as many dudes as she can, showing off her ass for money. And she's like, I accepted Jesus. Okay, we accept you. And if you don't do it, you're a bad person. Like, to be honest, the LP has this problem too. That Liberty chick did this with medical freedom, but a lot of libertarians call her out. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't understand it. Like, you watch these people do it all the time. They don't make enough money, and then they realize that the right is so gullible that as soon as you say one or two of their talking points and just keep reiterating it, they throw money at you. Because we have the money to throw around. But just stop. Make them earn your dollar. Make them earn your dollar. Like, if you buy a car and it doesn't make it out of the lot, you're not going to go back to that company and buy another car. You're going to be like, no, I'm not buying cars from them again. But what the right does is like, well, we'll give them a second chance. We'll give them a third chance. We'll give them a fourth chance. When you tell them, like, hey, you bought 4 cars from this dealership, none of them made it out of the lot before they broke down. Maybe you should stop buying from that lot. They're like, well, you're just not being Christian. Like, what? It's infuriating. Oh, fuck. But yeah, no, I'm expecting a bunch of sips to be in the comment section. She totally changed, bro. Quit being a white knight. Quit being a simp. Be a man. Quit simping for these hoes. They're blown out roast beef sandwiches. You don't want it. I promise. Fuck me. God bless. Oh. That's an interesting one. I'm kind of curious to see the comment section later this week when it gets out. Not the OnlyFans chick. She hasn't changed, but I believe some people. No, I'm not saying people can't change. I'm saying the people that come out and are instantly changed are absolutely lying and grifting. I have met plenty of people who used to be on drugs and say they found Jesus, and like 2 years later, they're still struggling. They're like, every day's a struggle. You know, I'm just going to stick to it. I'm like, good for you. If you need any help, hit me up, send me a message, give me a phone call. I'm there for you, brother. Like, you are working at it. You are trying every day and you're saying it's a struggle. This broad literally says, no, I accepted Jesus and I have no desire to do anything else. Just ignore the fact that I kept my OnlyFans up for months. Ignore the fact that I still manage my Reddit page with my stuff on there. Completely ignore that I have backup Instagrams accounts with these pictures on them. Ignore all of that. Trust me, bro. Like, no. All right, she was a physician's assistant turned physical trainer with pictures focusing on her. Yeah. No, it's still a thirst trap. She's still doing the same thing. And I don't get it. I literally do not understand how people are like, but it's different now, bro. She's not completely naked. She's just shaking her ass. Still making money. Okay, so she has to do less work and you guys are throwing out money at her for still being a thought. I used to buy into some lefty nonsense. I remember now. I can only make it. We just need to get you off the alcohol. At least tone it back. No, that was it. I fucking lost. I had it timestamped and I lost it.
That person is a fake. She didn't want to get out. And I'm thinking of this other person from my chat. I said, I don't know. Pretty sure I've followed this. I'm pretty sure, but what illogical.
Like I had it timestamped. I can't refresh itself. Like, she literally says, I woke up and accepted Jesus and I have no desire to sin whatsoever. Now go sign up for my Instagram where I show off my ass and my tits more. Like, what? And this entire interview, Michael Knowles did nothing to question her. He did nothing to question her. He he sets it up. I'm going to ask you the question and give you the answer we want to hear.
If you can think about sins, especially like the weird sex stuff,
Yeah.
and you can just kind of zoom out, take the pain and the suffering, and just like kind of look at it, the people look absurd, right? It's like a
Yes.
guy in his dark room with the blinds looking at like you making a funny face
Yeah.
on with, you know, it's so illogical. It's so absurd. And our Lord, when you read the scriptures, and especially when you read his words in the Gospels, I don't know, it strikes me as this is the most logical man that's ever lived.
I agree with that point of view completely. Like,
See, like he asks a question, then he answers his own question, and then looks at her to copy his question. Like, I don't get this. Like, where's the tough questions in this interview? But he just openly accepts I found Jesus as the answer to everything, and now we should accept people. Like, if Jeffrey Dahmer was like, gets arrested for eating and killing all those people, goes to prison and says, I accept Jesus now. And they're like, okay, you're free to go and leave the prison. And then he goes out and kills more people. And they're like, oh, I repent now. I repent again. Like, okay, we'll just let you free. They're like, no, that's not how any of that works. Gothics has been based for a minute. They only decided to collab with her because Black Girl Gamers is in the news. I think that's what Gothics is. Yeah, no. Maybe I explained that poorly. I learned of Gothics. I was still living in the other state, so I'm going to say 6 years ago, maybe. She did some collab where she was going off about something, and it was like, like she's had enough time. Maybe she's changed. I should re-up watching her. But like, I have questions when people jump that ship and immediately start doing the same talking points. Like that's my issue. I can't. I'm based now, guys. How are you based? Checks, notes, talking points. Like, I like to see creators have original points and not just like, hey, these are the talking points that get clicks. Right? That's like, I hate. The perfect example. I was covering. Oh shit! Hold on. Let me do this. I can do this. I'm gonna out myself a little bit. We're gonna do this. All right. Yeah. So here, Critical Drinker commented on this IGN article that was posted to Twitter 14 hours ago. Yeah, you're fascist and Helldivers too, but it's intentionally all over the top so it's impossible not to smile. That was an article I covered at the beginning of February. Right? Before anybody actually gave a shit. I was talking about stuff. Before everybody else. But suddenly it becomes a talking point. Now everybody who's popular wants to talk about it. And now my videos blow up on stuff. Like, I absolutely... I wish people... Like, I appreciate everybody being here because I'm a smaller creator. And I'm covering a lot of topics. But if you go through and check some of the analytics on my videos, they're 3 or 4 weeks old before somebody else covers them. And you can calculate to the day when larger creators covered them. So I absolutely love everybody who's on the smaller creators checking everything they're doing. Like, you guys are doing this. Yeah, no, I don't know, maybe you're taking it as complaining, but it's like, it's weird, right? Because you can just click on the link in that article and it shows you the date it was made. Right? There are smaller creators covering the real topics, and the bigger creators wait months to copy it until it's a bigger talking point, right? Like, Helldivers has been talked about for months. It's not something new, right? I'm just, like, it's just frustrating because there's so many good small creators out there that are covering the real topics, but they don't get any traction until someone big does. And it's not all right, I think I figured it out. I'm not shitting on the larger creators. I'm shitting on the YouTube algorithm. I think that's where the disconnect in that comment was. I'm not shitting on the bigger creators. I'm shitting on the YouTube algorithm. The fact that so many people can be talking about subjects months before, and it takes somebody like Critical Drinker or Nerdrotic to cover something before it breaks out of the algorithm. Right? That's the annoying part to me. I think Shock, is that kind of did I clear the disconnect on that? My homeboy Fabian Liberty did an interview with Richie, the D-Trans suing the NHS in the UK before. Yeah, there's tons of stuff like that. There's tons of stuff, but YouTube won't feed you that stuff. Right? That's why I am so amazed and so thankful for everybody who smashed that like button, is here in the chats, who's sharing out my videos, because no matter what, you guys make the channel. I just give talking points, and sometimes you're interested in my talking points, and sometimes you're not. Sometimes you disagree with me, sometimes you don't. I just yeah, but that's the thing. I hate the algorithm. Like, it keeps people down so bad that you have to do the craziest stuff. You have to do the crazy stuff to break through. Oh, okay. Yeah, this one went longer than expected. I got to work in 9 minutes, so guys, if you're here, smash that like button. I appreciate everybody who showed up. I appreciate everybody who watched. I appreciate you guys being here. But I've got to go to work. Yes, butts and smash, smash butts, smash attractive female butts, smash attractive female butts. But that's it, guys. I appreciate it. Until the next one, guys, be easy like sleazy.